Yes. So it says that the Make Ghana sub-program is the engine of Ghana's industrial renaissance. It aims to reposition Ghana as a manufacturing hub for West Africa by scaling strategic manufacturing value chains and building productive ecosystems that are globally competitive. The sub-program envisions the development of 50 industrial parks nationwide, supported by reliable infrastructure, logistics, and utilities.
My concern there has to do with the fact that the average Ghanaian is good when it comes to manufacturing.
Yeah.
Leo and I have always had issues with the finishing.
Yeah.
It could be whatever.
Yeah.
Furniture, it could be clothing.
Yeah.
Clothing now we're doing well in there.
Yeah.
But there's some it's good. Clothing is good.
Yeah.
But when it comes to furniture, you see very beautiful work done.
Yeah.
But the finishing is bad. Yeah. And that is how come people would always opt for that of China because of the finishing. Yeah. So if we need to look at technology, if we need to look at machinery, things that would help us get the finishing right, I am for it. I want to get a portion where it talks about Kumasi. Specifically
so
for
they will
Kumasi.
build. So when you go to page, let me get it for you. When you go to when you go to the page 32, it talks about Kumasi Machinery and Technological Park.
Exactly.
Where it will be a flagship industrial initiative aimed at reducing Ghana's reliance on imported machinery and tools. Located in Ashanti region, the Kumasi Machinery and Technological Park will serve as a national, so it's not a regional park, a national hub for precision engineering, machine fabrications, and technology transfer to support agro-processing, construction, textile, and light machinery. So Harun Edusu was asked this by Evans Mensah, and his explanation is that often when Greek people go into the production, they know that maybe they need a machinery to maybe say do laboring. They have to go to China or India to source that machine. What they will do is that this thing, when created in Kumasi, will be the reference point for industry under 24-hour economy, where they will be the first
port of call
for them to produce the machine.
The reason why I'm interested in this it's not because it's coming to Kumasi and it's Kumasi thing. No, I know it's a national thing. Yeah. But it then will give more value to the people of Magazine.
Yeah.
And you know what the people at Magazine are able to do?
Yes.
When it comes to some of these machinery stuff. There are some vehicles that the parts are not available, but they are able to
get it,
to create it for you, to form them for you. So if we say we're bringing this machinery to, Kumasi, and I think was it a few months ago we had a conversation, where somebody told us that there's this synergy between KNUST Engineering and the Magazine
some even go for training,
artisans there. How well have we been able to harness the two? The KNUST Engineering bit and the ingenuity, creativity, the works that the people at Magazine are able to do.
So, for example, when it comes to pins and all these other parts,
all those things are what I'm talking about.
Can we put a cap on it and say from today we are not going to?
The thing is that KNUST has overproven. That's why sometimes when we bash them, it's not like because I'm hugely affiliated to them, but they've proven the indelible ink, for example. God rest his soul, Professor Tia. He taught me physical chemistry first in 2014. They produced the indelible ink here. He didn't buy. They went to India.
We didn't use it.
Look at the traffic. Professor Tamaklo. When I was at the Department of Physics, KNUST like to doom there. But how often does it go off compared to the ones we have in the town?
Can't we compel them to buy it from us?
That is what the 24-hour economy is supposed to do.
That is where rather government commitment.
That's what I'm saying. That's what the 24-hour is supposed to do.
Yes.
That's what it's supposed to do, because if we are producing all this locally, which means that we're not necessarily looking outside the shores of this country. If we look outside, we're bringing in raw materials that would enable us to construct, to build, to produce,
to scale.
We need to use them here.
You see?
Having used them, they will look at neighboring countries that would also require those materials.
Then tap into the market.
Exactly.
See, when you go to KNUST and there's traffic light out. You see that the campus is not perfect, it's lit. They use a solar system. So you ask yourself, why does it make sense for us to travel from the front of Love FM to Ejeso and only 6-7 street lights are working? There's already, the campus is here. Tap into, but see, it's not sexy because KNUST, there's no procurement. That's why I'm happy that the 24-hour economy is largely about what? Doing the thing locally. So you can tap into them and say that, Charlie, guys, you are professor this, professor that. Come together, let's do this, let's create this. Because you see,
enshrined in policy, when you read about their whims and caprices.
Yes, when you read about the 4 tigers, and I always say the Chabaos, Hyundai didn't become Hyundai in a day.
Overnight.
Samsung didn't become Samsung. They had mistakes, but it was a government concerted effort that America is leading us. Let's start something. It may be small, let's start something. So David's point is very brilliant. We also shouldn't get to the point where we should rather get to the point where there's a strong link between academia. See, when you want to go to school, bro, and you read the courses and the reasoning behind the courses, you can clearly see that there's a niche. That is why someone will go to London School of Economics, they finish school, JP Morgan will tap into it, Goldman Sachs will tap into it. You see, there's a reason. The courses are tailor-made for specific industries. By a course, as a obi that's sorry, no a creative BB. So there need to be also a link between what is 24-hour economy, the strategic thematic areas, and academia, what industry. So someone should be able to research into us Ghana's soya bean and maybe how it impacts your health. Because you see, these confectionaries they bring and this baby foods that they bring, look at the literature that attach it. Your skin will become lightened.
When they talk about even the brain development
and all that. Over time, and Love FM too, because we also a business, we take the money and play the advert. So every morning the baby is in the car, brain nourishment. You go to the supermarket, you are looking for the product to buy. It is a deliberate thing.
And then the ones that are produced here, actually shouldn't rob them.
But that is why we need to add value to it. That's why I like the 24-hour economy. When it talks about the fact that we don't just necessarily have to export the raw materials at its raw stage. Yeah. We need to add value to it.
And David, we must also focus on things. David, see, Tom Brown, a Bruna yet the fra beans. Why can't we connect like maybe necessarily like how they do it?
Oh, but some have done it, and some have bagged it. But the bottom line is, look at this Uma Mesheto guy, for example.
Yes. And I just bought some. Put it on record.
I ate some with bread last night.
And that was why I bought some. So
look at the packaging.
Yes.
Production and packaging.
Yes.
You understand? And that is what the Ghanaian needs. A lot of Ghanaians out there have the ingenuity. They have what it takes to do what they have to do.
Yeah.
But is the environment friendly enough? Let's not talk about the funding bit.
Yeah.
Because if you have the mind and the ability, where are you going to source the funding from?
Yeah.
So you're able to produce the quality at the large quantities that we're looking for, where we can consume and export the rest.
Yeah.
If this woman Shito guy says, well, listen, let's support this guy to do more of the production.
Yeah.
We're used to putting Shito in jars. It can break. We are used to put them in plastics. That is creating environmental challenges. But look at how he's done it right now. If this guy should decide to even enter Africa and says he wants a market in Africa. Tell me he will not get a market in Senegal or Nigeria. Tell me he will not get
Shito, for instance, is gaining popularity in Nigeria, for instance.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
So the new markets that we can.
So we're looking at the funding.
Kenya has always been calling her to come.
So we're looking at the funding.
Yeah.
How do we go about the funding? Because this is a private sector-led initiative. Yeah. How do we ensure that the rates, interest rates and all, will be so okay for the person to say, okay, I'm going for this. I'm going to invest it in my business. I will get the market, be able to pay you back your money, and still run business.
So, David, another point I have to add it to you. I think about 2 years ago, I read the banking. I've not done it this year. I don't know whether it changed, but most banks were giving loans to governments, contractors.
And because they know when you lend to government,
yes.
But if you lend to a private individual, the challenge that business might collapse. Depending on which political party is in power, because sometimes we know there are people who have the party in power, the business will collapse.
In fact, when you break down NPLs, they're non-performing loans, and most of them are politically exposed persons.
Exactly.
And remember when Leighton Kuma was alive, Nana Jantu and I did the show, and we brought one guy, Isaac Sessi. He does this agro grain mate. So they have this temperature machine that they use to test the moisture in maize so that the maize do not spoil. And David, they did a research. They found that most startups in Ghana collapse 3 to 5 years. So the banks have this data, so they are afraid to give money to them. That is what I'm saying, that of the 340 million, I didn't hear Haruna break it down.
300 to 400 million.
To 400 million. I didn't hear Haruna break it down. We want to know, just like the question I asked about the Women Development Bank, is it free money? 1, we must know. 2, if it's not free, at what interest rate are we giving the person? What are the payment terms? Is it that the person is paying when the person expands, blossoms? Is it 10 years?
They start immediately charging the rate and all those things.
And how we plow the money back to other people, because some of us who were chira, they want to also enroll upon. So David, for me, the private sector must see themselves in the project, and they can only see themselves when the government is committed. That's the thing. Because David, you see, Say,
but
you know that you have the war with that, but because you don't have political connections,
exactly.
you'll be. So that's why I was happy about Mohammed's speech. If indeed the president is really committed to the speech he gave at the launch of the 24-hour, it will be good. That it shouldn't be based on political coloration, because if you live in a country when MPP comes, certain businesses flourish.
Yeah.
Certain businesses go down. When NDC comes, certain businesses flourish. Certain businesses, no. We must create businesses that outlives
the
political colors.
The political
the question
government
you
of the day.
The finance, whether it's going to be free or whatever.
Yeah.
It says key financial partners include the Development Bank Ghana, Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, Exim Bank. I don't think this money will be given for free.
Yeah, David, you won't be there.
I understand you. But what I'm saying is,
you remember Maslow? I'm coming. Let me. You remember Maslow at a point where they said that they were bad debt. You remember? So that's what they need to come clear with us, because yes, you said that you are taking money from all these areas. One, is it free money? Two, if it's not free money, what are the interest rates in terms of repayment? Because David, though government sometimes behave some way, you need to be so no sabe. It be a fucking.
You are on radio, please.
Sorry, some of them are also very some way. You know, it's a nomenclature to forgive me. You see, some of them are very some way. They will go to NEIP, take money from there, squander the money, go to Maslow, take money, squander the money because they have political affiliation. Meanwhile, there will be a Louis Stanley in there. Look at our girl. They call me pass lady. And carry her. Imagine we give her the contract that the Ashanti Region Sanitary Party produced. Because see, what we do to the Enkawi economy is that a certain girl who will be sleeping with a Galamsey guy to get pregnant will be going to help produce the part. But they'll keep the money in the country.
When we went to the regional director's office last week, well, I think I was at Maxwell or Eric. There were about 3 trucks, big trucks, huge trucks, that was there with buses from several senior high schools ready to pick their sanitary pads. Oh. And the trucks were there and they were offloading sanitary pads. If you look at the number of sanitary pads, the volumes of sanitary pads.
The first one that they imported.
And I asked myself, we've imported all these, enriching somebody else's economy. Picture that we're doing this production here in Ghana. The money stays within our economy. The money is going to help develop and broaden and expand the economy. But yeah, they come up before. So for me, you began by saying something. I wanted to say something that when we were growing up, the Chinese had a kind of canvas, black, called the Chinese canvas. People never liked the Chinese canvas. We laughed at it. Even when you want to buy some products from whatever, some years ago, they saw where they say for China, and people look down upon those products from China because when you say quality, no air compromise. But right now, that's where the whole world, not Ghana, that's where everybody's going.
And the Chinese people, made a considered effort to make
to
sure
work
that
at it, to work at it. So for me, we're running out of time. We've talked about the Grow Ghana, which of course we all say we love, but for me the Galamsey bit is still on my mind. When we talk about the production bit, I'm looking at the quality, the finishing, to ensure that I would wear something. And Ghana should stop this. You wear something made in Ghana, to the ding. But Tita and Dania to Najwa Yankee, we shall near Udi by Betia cries if face the war. We always want to look down upon our own. We always want to despise things from Ghana. Let's stop that attitude. Let's big ourselves up. We'll make some mistakes along the line, but we'll learn from our mistakes and do better going forward. What I'd like to land on, or end on, is this.